Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the It's Still a Freaking Mess haul here at Dr. Jet Laboratories. My shop, the Stinkbugworks, is, of course, buried in furniture and other things that have no business there, but they're there anyway. So I haven't been able to charge batteries. I haven't been able to build anything. I did order some things before all this construction began, and they've sort of slowly arrived. So I thought I might share some upcoming projects, and then there's not going to be any more upcoming projects until I finish everything that's on my plate. I'm getting a few too many projects ahead, and I've got to finish what I have. So let's talk about the Jet Stepper. I have now sourced an appropriate motor. This is a Surpass 2822 motor. Well, what's in there is a Surpass 2822 motor. The only difference being this red one is version 2. It still has the same mounting holes as this black motor, but in order to get this motor to work, I think these tabs are going to get in the way. And just looking at it, it would probably be real easy to just get a pair of pliers and snap those tabs off where they would interfere. And this motor will be drop-in. So in the 1/20th Hydro Challenge, I am going to make Jet Stepper kits as one of the prizes, and I'll ship them with this motor. I still have a few of these motors, but I'm going to make a kit as one of the prize. You'll get all the hull material, the motor, the extra cool coupler, the aluminum drive shaft. I think I'll give you a prop. You're on your own when it comes to turn fins and rudder. That's a common rudder, common servo, little 18 amp speed control. So I'm going to make one of these a prize for the 1/20th scale challenge. I just heard from my laser cutting guy, and he'll be able to start laser cutting on Friday, but it may take him a while because he's got some serious stuff going on. So it may be a while. I hope to have kits for the Atlas and the short circuit ready to go by the 1st of September. That would be cool. Okay, next in front of me is a box of parts. Now, this is a TP 2020 motor. They call it a 2020, but compared to the Chinese motors, it's more like a 2060. The second number in there refers to the rotor length and not the can length, whereas the Chinese motors go by the can length. Anyway, I had this motor. I was going to put it in the Mozilla 400. I opted for a smaller motor. This seemed like overkill in the Mozilla 400. These long can motors have a lot of power for their diameter, be they these little 20 series motors or the great big 15 series new motors that are this long. You know, they have a ton of power, and it's mainly because you have more length across this stator with the wires and the parallel and the magnet thing happening, and they just give you more. So I planned on putting this in a project. What kind of project? Well, a month or so ago, Big B came across a Formula One boat, and I got to looking at that and was thinking, you know, that's pretty cool. I don't have a Formula One boat, so I thought I'd order a Formula One boat. And I looked around and looked and looked and looked. Turned out that Oliver over at H&M has a really cool micro Formula One boat. And so I ordered one, and I think there was some confusion in the translations of our conversations going back and forth. I wanted a flood chamber in it, and we weren't entirely clear. And when I got the invoice, it was a little more than I expected. And it says, well, okay, it doesn't matter. And I'll get into that. And so in the interim, I'm thinking, okay, I've ordered this micro Formula One boat. I want to use a motor like this where I can get it down really low, go to a cable drive. And this is from a Pro Boat, inexpensive little inboard outboard. And what it is a steerable outdrive that just sort of looks like an outboard motor. And I thought, well, there you go. There's the perfect combination. This 2.2 millimeter cable, a little 30 amp speed control, and that would be just about right. Well, you know, this is a cool little dummy motor, but the problem is the hull. Although Oliver calls it a micro, to me, micro is micro. This sucker's a little big. And in fact, this motor looks stupidly small. I mean, it doesn't look small. It looks stupidly small back here. Now, what I could do, and I'm seriously considering it, is putting a big shaped cowl here to replace this and give it the appearance of being bigger, or just making something out of, you know, a piece of carbon fiber with some tubing and some, you know, foam with fiberglass on it. Who knows? But then I'm looking at this motor and going, you know, is that enough for this boat? If I keep it real light, and you know, this doesn't weigh much of anything. This is a fairly light motor, put in fairly light batteries because it's not a very high amp draw, and I could make a really light little F1 boat. It'd be fun to knock around. It wouldn't be a speed demon, but it should be a fun runner, should be able to get up and fly and then corner like a F1 boat should, using this and an outdrive and all that to keep the weight down low. So with a flood chamber, this thing should be self-righting. You see, this is sealed off here, so this entire wing will flood, and then this, if taped up and sealed, will pop it around, and so it should be self-righting. That's one of my options, but this is just kind of ho-hum power. It's going to be more than 16,000 RPM, but it will perform like 25,000 RPM. I'll be able to get RPM out of it, but I'm going to have to put such a small prop on it that it's just not going to be really fast. Then I got to thinking, I've got this 1112 1.5 Delta new motor. Now, this thing's a beast, and I could put that in there, but then where would I put batteries? The thing would weigh a ton. It would have insane power. I could use that clamp motor mount system and shove this way up here and get batteries behind it, maybe split batteries either side of the drive shaft. So that's a possibility. Although I'm kind of leaning towards this, just moderate power, something to buzz around and have fun with. you know, just for style points. So just some thinking. Now, I said that I thought Oliver charged me an awful lot for this. Well, here's what got lost in the conversation. He thought I ordered this as well. And this, you know, you boys and girls know what this is? This is one of those little eco boats. It's designed, this was originally designed for a Speed 400 motor and a submerged drive, submerged prop. And the thing was self-righting just by its general design. It's a big rounded thing here and a flat V here. Guess which side's going to want to be in the water? The flat side. So I may build this up. I have smaller motors. This would be overkill in that. Might not be enough in that, but definitely overkill in this. So I've got some other little Chinese motors I may put in there. I may make this a prize in the 1/20th scale hydro challenge as well. Now remember, the 1/20th scale hydro challenge, I'm going to put the boats out September 1st, and I'm going to call the finish date somewhere in the spring. Give you plenty of time to build it and test it. So I'll call the finish date somewhere in spring. And it's going to be two things: the fastest and the coolest. So the coolest looking is going to get style points. The fastest is going to get speed points. In the event of a tie, style will always win out over speed, but only by a little bit. Okay, I think I've covered everything that's been happening here whilst nothing has been happening. Until next time, jet out.